Wait, I say hello.
Yeah, I had that moment too. I was like, no.
Hello.
And welcome back to Party Trick Astrology. Look at Shaina's hair!
Oh, yeah.
I'm Nina.
I'm Shaina.
Look at Shaina's hair. So now you can tell us apart.
Now my roots aren't going to be mistaked as some kind of purposeful
Trendy.
thing. No, it was never purposeful. I hated it more than you guys.
But anyway, this is Venus and Taurus.
What is Venus?
Venus is love. It's relationships. It's romantic partnerships.
Yes, even friendships are just what you want from a partner, what you show off your
peacock feathers. If no one has watched anything from our channel, they're like, who are these people? Why are they talking about our hair? Why are they doing these weird blibblibas?
Yeah, no, they've already clicked off. If you're a Taurus Venus, you could be a Taurus sun sign,
But you could also be an Aries, Pisces,
Gemini, and Cancer, or Taurus. You could be a Taurus.
You
But
could
make
be.
sure you check it out before you just blindly watch this video because you're a Taurus sun sign. Okay. What planet rules Taurus?
Venus.
Interesting. So
Crazy.
sounds pretty at home here. It is. Taurus is a co-ruler Venus, so Libra and Taurus share. They share it.
I've also heard that that some astrologers consider Taurus to be ruled by Ceres.
I could see that.
Yeah.
Which is it's an asteroid. It's considered like how you nurture and that kind of stuff. I think that there's a planet out there that we haven't discovered yet.
Yeah. I think the government knows it. The government knows that there's another planet.
Yeah.
It rules Taurus.
Yes.
Because, you know, Scorpio is ruled by Mars and Pluto.
Taurus is ruled by Libra and undiscovered planet. Conspiracy theory by Party Trick Astrology.
Let it be recorded. Let it be known.
We're like the new psychic.
When they discover a new planet, you heard it here first.
Kendall Ray's gonna make a video about it. Yeah. Anyways, so enough of that. Okay.
Taurus is also the bull. It's Earth and it's a fixed sign.
Yes, and it rules the neck. That is all our basic facts. Venus and Taurus is so yummy. It's so just warm. It's so cuddly.
Yeah.
Keyword here, just loves to lay around and cuddle with their partner. That really means so much to them, and this is why it sextiles Cancer.
Yes.
Sextiles Pisces. You all love the cuddles, laying around, doing nothing. Like, your ideal kind of date is or your ideal day. Not date, just day in general.
Day on Earth.
Yeah, it's just like laying around with who you love the most. It could be a person, it could be a dog, it could be whatever. And just like chilling, indulging in all the comforts, watching TV, eating some nice food.
But staying at home usually.
Yeah.
It's a nice like homey sign. Taurus also rules the 5 senses. So the real surefire way to please a Venus and Taurus is to appeal to their 5 senses, you know. And they love gifts. It rules the 2nd house, so it's a little materialistic. So, you know, get them a nice smelly candle, a nice fuzzy blanket. That's just, they want to be like experiencing a nice thing in all of their 5 senses, and that stimulates their lovey feelings.
But just because Taurus is a little bit materialistic, is a little bit like that, doesn't mean that it's not a deep sign, doesn't mean that they have a surface level love. I don't think that at all. It's just the way that they love is more visceral than a lot of other placements. It's like it wants to show physical affection that really matters to them, and if they don't feel like they're not getting enough sort of physical affection, it's not like Leo at all. They don't need to be told they're beautiful, they don't need to be told anything like that. They just want to be kind of held and feel loved from all of their senses, feel it in every way.
Just feel things you guys like to feel. And Taurus just like openly and admittedly just enjoys the healthier pleasures of life.
Right.
It's the opposite of Scorpio. Scorpio enjoys the torturous hashtag tarot card devil pleasures of life.
Yeah.
But Taurus likes the healthy pleasures of life. Indulge in a little dairy-free dark chocolate.
Yes.
And just touching, feeling, hearing.
A nice little whisper in their ear close to their neck, their sensitive spot. Ooh.
Exactly. So if you think about the Taurus love language, it is a little little bit about all 5. You know, they're definitely physical touch.
Yes.
But
I think the way that they show love is very physical touch.
Yeah. And then when it comes to like words of affirmation, that feels good, but especially depending on your tone of voice. They'll be attracted to voices.
Yes.
They'll be attracted to, let's talk about kind of their peacock feathers and what they are attracted to and what they value. What they value is it's a fixed sign, and it's Earth. Steady, stable relationship.
I think it's the most wanting of a stable relationship. I think that these people know that they have a lot of love to give, and they can probably feel like if they don't have anywhere to put it, they can feel like almost like lost as to where to put all this like love.
They just feel like it's a waste if they don't have someone to love and adore and be in a relationship
and even like
with.
take care of a little bit.
They're like, I got all this love.
Yeah.
A great idea if you don't is to, you know, reinvest it into yourself. Taurus, Venus loves
or a pet.
some self-care.
Self-care,
We all
definitely.
do like that healthcare too, though.
Yeah, and Venus in Taurus is going to be, like all of the earth signs, and fixed signs, a little bit more hesitant to get into a relationship. I think probably one of the most hesitant, not because they have commitment issues, quite the opposite. They love commitment, and they are some of the most, if not the most committed Venus sign of the zodiac, because it's fixed and earth, so they will literally stay with you through thick and thin.
Yes.
Like when they say their vows, like for better or for worse, they fucking mean worse. Like they mean both, and they expect you, or they want you, and they hope that you would do the same. And if they see you as somebody that isn't as committed, but maybe is a little bit flighty, that they don't feel that stability with, they won't want to get involved with you at all. And so these people might be somebody who have less relationships than most people in their life. Not necessarily less crushes, because it's ruled by Venus, so they kind of love everyone. Might have a crush on everyone and just kind of see the beauty in everyone. And they're pretty popular people because Venus is in a Venus sign, so it makes for quite a popularity. So they might have a lot of crushes, but whether or not they move forward with those crushes, that's the big ticker. They might have 100 crushes before they choose one that they want to kind of go after. Yeah. And if they do go after them, they're not somebody that is aggressive with it.
Right. Another thing
it's
about
the bull. They're kind of like plump.
Like all fixed Venuses, Venus in Taurus has the attitude of, this is who I am. Yes. Love me or leave me. Like, take me for what I am or get the fuck off. You know?
And they're also hard to kind of, it's a bull, right? So they're kind of lumped down on the ground. It's kind of hard to get a bull up. The bull has to really get up if they want something. And because they're like, love me like I am, they kind of want the person to come to them. Yeah. Not because they need that like affirmation, like I think a Leo might or something like that.
Having being a Venus in Taurus, having your Venus ruled by a Venus sign, having that extra charm to you, it's probably just what you're used to. Really, is you haven't really needed to be very aggressive, and so you find that you're not comfortable doing that. And you find that since it's not such a big necessity, it's not a big priority for you to be very aggressive, and that as long as you're open to love, then you feel like it should come to you. And now this all depends also on, you know, Saturn aspects and house placements and all that as to whether it will be so easy for you to find love, but it definitely won't be, you know, even if you're an Aries, it's not like relationships are like bam, boom, over and done, or like fast coming. You know, there's definitely slow and steady wins the race is a big Taurus phrase.
They want you to come to them because it's that fixed nature. They're stubborn. They're like, I'm not gonna tell them, like, maybe like they put their heart in a line for something, like maybe they were the one that made the first move. So because of that, they're like, well, now it's your turn to ask if you want to go on a date. Now it's your turn to ask if we want to be in a relationship. Like, I'm not moving, I'm staying here, you kind of have to come to me kind of situation. They don't play hard to get, they just don't pursue either.
Yeah, because they're also not going to put themselves in a very vulnerable position because love means so much to them. And they want a love that's going to last. So if they're going to take one step, they want it to be like 50-50, 60-40, you know? So that they're not the kind of Venus sign who's going to chase the wrong people, because First
People
of all,
aren't worth
it's
the
hard.
chase
It's
for
hard
them.
for a bull to like get up and chase anything.
No, that's not gonna happen.
They understand that the people who are running are not worth the chase, and they want a equal relationship, 50-50, someone who takes them as they are. And if they feel like they need to work too hard, they're not going to, because it's ruled by Venus. Taurus is ruled by Venus. You already have like a little bit of idealism. You have, you know, this idea of what love should be, and to you love looks very traditional, partnership, homey, secure.
Yeah, they want love to be simple, not complicated. Taurus is a simple sign. It's the second sign of the zodiac. And so the chase equals complication.
Yeah.
This and love triangles and all that stuff, games, not for it. They're like, I want love to be love. I want it to be straightforward. I want it to be simple. I want it to be loving. I don't want any games. Like, that's why it's opposite of Scorpio, because all Scorpio wants is these weird games, these weird, complicated, fucked up situations. And Taurus wants nothing to do with that. These are not drama loving people. Like, they don't want to be involved in the drama. If they do get involved in drama, they're kind of the people to kind of slowly fade out of it, you know? Even if they have an aggressive Mars, they might get mad, but they don't want to stir up more drama, because they want their relationships to be stable. They want their relationships to be good. So Taurus is also a sign that holds grudges.
Oh, yes.
Really hardcore. And they also don't want drama. So if you're a friend of theirs, that means, and they've let you in, that's a huge deal. And then if you do something that crosses a line, whatever their line may be, and sometimes it's something kind of almost trivial.
Who knows what
it is?
Or Taurus Venus line could be.
Yeah.
You know, it all depends on the person.
Yeah. Then they will hold that grudge, and they also don't want drama, and they're also only wanting stable relationships. So they will cut someone off, but they're not the kind of people like Geminis who go through people left and right, because they have very few friends and they choose them very specifically. So when they cut one friend off, that's like 20% of their friendship.
Yeah.
So they will cut someone off, but it has to be for a very specific reason, and they will never forgive you. You have betrayed them. That's where kind of, I think, Scorpio and Taurus can have similarity. They both hold grudges, and they both don't like betrayals.
Yeah, but it's not easy. It hurts for a Taurus Venus to cut someone off. But at the end of the day, what a Taurus Venus values the most is just the sanctity of their space, the sanctity of themselves, their emotional health. Considering the perspective that it may be ruled by Ceres, they just want a nurturing environment. They don't want any of that Scorpio toxicity to come in. And
none of that Leo braggadocious, attention-seeking, stirring up shit, Aquarius. No.
So they'll definitely,
straightforward.
they've got the bull. They've got, you know, their fence.
Yeah.
They've got a nice green luscious area.
Yeah.
But there's fences there, which is funny because, like, why are there fences there? Obviously because of animal agriculture, but I feel like if the fences weren't there,
they would stay where they are. They wouldn't have. They might accidentally travel outside.
Yeah, they might go like here
then they
and
kind of be
there.
like, I miss my old patches of grass.
Yeah.
These people really like finer things. They like their clothes. They like soft things. Their food. They definitely just enjoy the finer food.
They do.
And they like a little bit of luxury.
They love wine.
Yes, no, absolutely. And they can be a little bit of a wine whore about it.
Yeah, no, I had a Taurus roommate and she was from Napa, and oh my god, 60% of the words that came out of her mouth were involving wine. I paid her Wi-Fi. Instead of just giving her money, she asked me to buy her wine as her Wi-Fi, the Wi-Fi reimbursement.
Yeah, they don't really show off much. Like, their peacock feathers aren't like a typical, like, here I am, because they're not trying to necessarily attract.
Yeah, I think they're more secure one of the more secure, more confident signs.
Yeah, I think that they have that inner security.
They're not like
their way that they look.
Hey, here are my peacock feathers. It's just like,
this is how I look.
This is what it is. This is what I value. It's pretty simple. It's pretty straightforward. You can take it. You can leave it. If you want to take it, then cool, let's go. If you want to leave it, then fine. I don't need you in my bullpen.
And okay, if you're in a relationship with them or something, you mess up. The Taurus Venus, you as the Taurus Venus messes up. Forgets something, doesn't get the right gift. Obviously, like, the Taurus Venus will feel really bad, but the Taurus Venus, I don't think, because it's fixed, they won't really necessarily, like, do anything about it unless you say, hey, can you do this? Like, they're kind of people that that like rules, not as rigid as the other earth signs, but all earth signs can follow rules really well. All earth signs kind of like things laid out on the table, straightforward and honest. So if you're with a Taurus Venus partner and they're doing something, or they did something wrong or something like that, I think that if you communicate with them in the most practical way, and it's like, all I need you to do is this simple change. Like, again, it can't be about them. It can't be just something small or something easy for them to do. That really
not like a huge,
not like a personality change,
but an action.
But yes, like, hey, instead of calling me every day, do you mind calling me every other day, or something like that? That's simple. They'll be like, absolutely, but they won't do that unless you like communicate with them. Like, they can kind of be trained to a certain extent in the way that they treat you, because they want to treat you the best way, because they want to be treated in the best way. So they really are a sign that I think gives as much as they get, and they're very receptive in that sense.
But they kind of just like things to be, for lack of a better word, perfect.
Yes.
Not in a very idealistic Pisces or Libra way, but just like simple perfect. You know, like a classic rom-com. You're walking down the streets of New York and you stop by a used bookstore and you want to just go into the used bookstore and then you want to go into the cafe. It's not like, what would a Venus and Pisces want? You're strolling along on the beach,
right?
And a shark comes and attacks you and he saves you, and then you get caught in the rain, but then a rainbow comes, you know?
Or Venus and Leo, where it's like this dramatic thing, and
he takes out his gladiator sword and fights into the death.
Venus and Aries, like, it's a fight. No. They just want a simple, straightforward, like we've said so many times, kind of love. And I think that these people can get very lonely very easily. Not because they're crazy socialites or anything, but just because if they're not surrounding themselves with people that they love, and they don't require a lot of people, they only require a handful of people. But if they don't have those, they feel almost incomplete.
Right, that's the thing. It's quality over quantity. That's so Taurus. Quality over quantity is such a Taurus thing. Taurus Venus wants a handful of very committed relationships rather than a quantity, like a large quantity of frivolous relationships. That lends them to possibly getting into situations where they feel more lonely, because if their handful of serious committed relationships are not going well, they can't look for it somewhere else. They can't like go to a bar and feel like, oh, I feel so much better talking to you.
And they also can't gloss over the fact that somebody's treating them wrong.
And it's not even like someone just treating them wrong. It's just like maybe distance could be an issue, or just like suddenly you have to block off communication with someone because they crossed you, and then you went from having 3 friends to 2 friends.
Right.
And that can be difficult because relationships that are strong and committed and loving are so important to a Venus and Taurus, where other Venus signs might not be as straightforward in like what's important to them. You know, it might be something that like, oh, this isn't like necessarily expected. It's pretty like, oh yeah, no duh. If you're a Venus and Taurus, like, no duh, like serious and committed relationships are important to you. But it's just more simple, and so it weighs more.
I would say these people are very monogamous, but not only to that sense, but let's say you're in a relationship with someone and one of them's a Venus and Taurus, right? And maybe you're a little bit older. The Venus and Taurus has maybe been through one relationship, and the other person has maybe been through a few. They might feel a little bit insecure about that, in a sense that they can't forget about your past, like they can't forget about theirs, and they want this secure foundation, and they almost want to have such a special connection with somebody because they have that love to give and they don't give it to many people. So they don't like the idea of you giving your love to many other people. In that sense. Like, this is not Venus and Scorpio, where it's like if you're friends with somebody, they're gonna get jealous. No, that's not them at all. But they will put your past into consideration with their future, because they're thinking, wow, they've been through quite a few people. Like, I don't want this to be something that you just kind of go through me, like, in a second. Like, I need this to be a special thing because I put so much importance onto this. So I want you to put the same. They might be more hesitant to be with somebody if they kind of know their past and it's kind of a little bit sticky.
Right. Because again, they want it to be simple. And I think the biggest key differentiation between the Taurus kind of possessiveness or possible jealousy versus a Scorpio is that Taurus Venus is 10 trillion times more rational.
And straight up about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Than a Scorpio kind of thing.
Like if a Taurus Venus were to voice their complaints, like I have a Taurus Venus friend and she'll, you know, talk about her like complaints about friendships or people or something, and even if I don't agree, like if I wouldn't feel the same way in a scenario, I can go, I can see where you're coming from.
Yeah.
Like I can always see where her logic is coming from in those circumstances. And she will sometimes be like, oh my god, am I crazy for thinking this? Is this irrational? And I'm like, no, you're the least irrational person probably that I know, because it's so grounded and just so simple and rational, and the logic equals and like plus equals their thought
equals C.
And it makes sense.
Yeah.
All right, so what Venus and Taurus is attracted to, even though it is ruled by Venus, you'd think that they would be shallow or the pretty boys, but I find that the way people look, like they're looking for people that like almost give them a feeling.
Yeah, I think it's like,
you know,
that kind of instead of where Libra is like beauty on the outside.
Yeah.
You know, this is like beauty on the inside. Let me talk about Big Brother for a second. Angela, who was furniture up until like a couple weeks ago. No one can be like, Angela's not beautiful, because she's like a fucking model or whatever. She's beautiful, but she doesn't have that like beautiful person glow, you know,
from the inside.
Yeah,
that like wholesome feeling.
Maybe it's just her skin, but I don't think she has that like beautiful person glow on the inside that Casey does. Casey is so beautiful.
I find that these people will overlook looks if they get that feeling.
Yeah, that like good person, like beautiful person glow. Because I think it does show up on the physical as well.
Yeah,
if you're you got that beautiful person glow, it shows up on your skin.
Yeah,
on your
but
face.
they're really not interested in the typical beauty standards of what beautiful is. I mean, maybe that's what they're attracted to, but that's coming from them, not necessarily from the shallow perspective that you think of more of like a Libra or something, or even a Gemini.
Yeah,
that would like, you know. So these people can have like weird crushes because they might not make any sense, and they don't really care what they look like together. I find like Venus and Leo care so much that they look good together, but that's why it squares Taurus, because Venus and Taurus doesn't care about that. What they care is that their love languages match. You know what I mean? They love being taken care of, but they also love taking care of people, and I just think that it's such a like wholesome, loving placement. Oh, and I can't believe we didn't mention this. Sensuality.
Sensuality!
Huge letters. I can't believe we didn't mention this before, but like Venus and Taurus is the ultimate sensual sign, like touching and caressing, and like they want
it's
like
the five senses. Sensuality.
No matter their Mars sign, I think that when they have sex, they don't have sex, they like make love.
Oh yeah.
They want to, at least. That's the ideal. They want the other person to be making love with them, and they want to make love with the other person, and they want it to be a five senses experience.
Yeah, moaning and
oh, and if you don't have soft skin, or if you have like dirty fingernails, or if your hair is rough and gross, and no, they want to put their fingers through your hair. They want to touch your body, and they want to like caress your skin or something like that. You know what I mean?
They want pillow lips.
Yeah, they really don't like gross sex or gross stuff.
I know, as a Venus and Taurus, you're thinking, but who does?
People.
You'd be surprised.
Yeah, absolutely. But Venus and Taurus is not.
No.
So you don't woo a Venus and Taurus by being gross and vulgar. You woo a Venus and Taurus by like letting them touch you.
Yeah, and singing sweet nothings into their ear.
Like they hate,
and giving them chocolate.
They hate first dates because they can't touch you. You vibe with you with the five senses.
Even if they don't like necessarily like, I just went on a date with a Venus and Taurus and she was not touching me, or they might not do it. But they want to.
Oh yeah. No, Venus and Taurus, I think, know social rules in that sense. They're not going to be aggressive and just like touch you out of nowhere.
Yeah, or they might like be holding back a little bit because you know they've got that protection. They're like, I want to make sure it's serious before I put my fingers through their hair.
But trust that that's all they want to do if they like you.
Yeah.
I don't think these people are a big fan of the blind date. They want to know who they're going on a date with. They're not a big fan of...
They don't really like surprises.
No.
We're gonna put a little, what's it called? Like, timestamp in the description. Skip to this if you don't want to watch the whole video. Taurus is quality over quantity. The five senses, sensuality. Slow and steady wins the race.
Stable.
Committed.
Straightforward, simple.
There you go. And that's Venus and Taurus.
I have to say, I think this is the nicest video we've ever made.
Yeah, we didn't say many mean things.
Because it makes sense. This placement just makes sense.
Yeah. So now everyone who doesn't have a Venus in Taurus is like, oh my god, my chart doesn't make sense at all.
I hope you enjoyed the nicest video. But this dating culture is hard on you because you guys are fucking committed. You guys don't necessarily like being in a bunch of relationships. Maybe you sleep around, but like being in a committed relationship you take very seriously. And you know, you don't go through people, and that's kind of, you know, it's a Venus and Gemini culture. And I would say if you're a Venus in Taurus, don't go for a Venus in Gemini. Anyways, so that's, I think, our conclusion of our Venus and Taurus video. And we have one last video to make.
What's
Venus
next?
and Aries. So now all the Venus and Aries can be like, finally!
Yeah.
So long for us to wait for someone patient. Anyways, that's for that.
By the way, when we do these series, we don't not do any of the signs. We do all the signs. And we go in backwards order.
From 12
Pisces to Aries.
Yes. So this is Taurus is 2.
Taurus is 2. So you're always gonna be second to last.
Yes.
Just so you know, this is a PSA for PTA. Goodbye.